Welcome everyone to the NCAA tournament in Phoenix, Arizona, and the Sweet 16 with an SEC Big East matchup as the 7th-seeded Florida Gators take on the 3rd-seeded Marquette Golden Eagles. The winner will go to the Elite Eight and take on the Louisville Cardinals. Hi again, everyone, alongside Lenny Elmore and Reggie Miller. Kevin Harlan, thank you so much for joining us for our second game here in Phoenix tonight. Reggie, some storylines for you.
Well, Marquette is 14-2 when they hold their opponents under 40% from the field, but more pressing, they've got to run these Gators off the three-point line.
Well, the Gators are a guard-oriented offense, 5 starters in double figures. They make almost 10 threes per game, so you expect bombs away.
And for Marquette, Lenny, who you got circled? Who you going to watch?
Well, a guy that is the Big East Player of the Year, you can't define him by position, and that's Jay Crowder, because he does it all. You take a look at those eye-popping numbers in the tournament, all they do is demonstrate he's the toughest matchup in the tourney field.
When we talked about Florida and the threes, they led the nation with 342 threes made. Now on the season, they're 38% from beyond the arc, but in the tourney, only 27%. They've got to knock down threes to go against that Marquette side.
It's the 7th-seeded Gators and the 3rd-seeded Golden Eagles from Phoenix. Sweet 16 matchup, Florida Marquette, as we bring in Marty Schneider.
Well, Kevin, Florida certainly happy to be back in the Sweet 16, but it's last year's Elite Eight game against Butler that Billy Donovan doesn't want his team to forget. It's a game we all did, and in the last 8 minutes, according to Donovan, his team absolutely fell apart. They quit hustling, they quit going after 50-50 balls, and they quit going after rebounds. This year, before they even got on the court, before they touched the basketball, Billy Donovan made his team watch the last 8 minutes of that game from last year's Elite Eight. He started the year off with it. He also started this week off with it. He made his team watch it again to remind them it's the hustle plays that win or lose the game here in the NCAA tournament. Kevin?
Marty, thank you very much. Let's now take a look at our lineups. Gators come in 25-10. They were second-place team in the Southeastern Conference at 10-6. And here's what they've got. Walker, Boynton, and Beal are terrific. Beal, one of the most talked about freshmen in college basketball. You see Junior Cadogan, he kind of makes things go for Marquette. But it's Jay Crowder who won the Big East Player of the Year. Billy Donovan, his 6th Sweet 16. He is 5-1. Longest tenured head coach in the SEC. And Buzz Williams is in his 4th season. One-time assistant under Tom Crean, a one-time head coach at New Orleans back in 06-07. Animated in his 27-17, reflecting his terrific personality. Teddy Valentine, who has been a part of 4 national championship games. Randall McCall, a part of 3 Final Fours. And Mike Reed, now in his 7th NCAA tournament, officiating our game tonight. The Gators have won 3 of their last 4 after losing 3 straight to build momentum coming in their 2nd consecutive Sweet 16. Marquette finishing 14-4, Len, in the Big East, a 2nd place finish, undefeated at home in Big East play, their 2nd consecutive Sweet 16.
Yeah, and this is a team, again, that gets out. They'll scramble you. You know, they like the pressure and get out in the passing lanes and love to run in transition.
And to follow up what Marty was saying about Florida and Billy Donovan and watching that Butler tape, having said everything, they still lost that game in overtime and had a chance to win it. You saw that shot there by Walker. So yeah, there was a lot of little things that they didn't do right, but this is a team can find themselves in that same position if they do all the right things.
Billy Donovan's team, the #1 3-point shooting team in college basketball. They hit 10 threes on average a game. Outside, it's Eric Murphy with a 3. Retrieved by Beal, who loses it to Crowder in our first possession for the Golden Eagles.
So you're going to see a common theme. Bradley Beal in there with the trees rebounding. He's an excellent rebounding guard at that 6'3" frame.
It's Jay Crowder. Rebound chased down, and Jamil Wilson looking for the ball. Off of Ford. You can take a look at what this Golden Eagle team is all about in terms of their numbers and how they got here.
Well, again, the conference record, 14-4 in the Big East, came as a surprise to a lot of people, but they were able to defend their home court and really pick up some big wins on the road.
That's a three-point try by Darius Johnson-Odom. An offensive rebound collected inside, and up and down it goes. Jamil Wilson is a sophomore from Racine, Wisconsin. And the other way, flying. Boynton had it rejected inside, and the other way, Crowder, the early release. And two for Marquette.
What a nice block there by Wilson. The last line of defense for Marquette.
He's one of the top shot blockers in the Big East. Number one on the Golden Eagles is Jamil Wilson. Close-in shot there by Eric Murphy will not go.
Marquette wants to get out in the open court. They've got the athletes to run.
Wilson bobbles the ball. Cadogan comes up with it, works on Beal. Nice knucklery right there by Kenny Boynton in a foot race.
Oh, nice.
With the Beal feed. Nice score right there by Bradley Beal.
And you could see Kenny Boynton on that play. He was stopped, but he was recognizing who was running with him.
7 consecutive NCAA appearances for Marquette. It's Wilson. Will fade away. That goes over Patrick Young.
In transition, this is what you want. You want guys to run with you. And look at Boynton. He looks right behind and sees that Beal's with him. A nice little dish over his shoulder.
Yeah, good court awareness by Kenny Boynton on that one.
Johnson-Odom and Crowder, the highest scoring tandem in the Big East. Johnson-Odom has it right now. Wilson setting a screen. Switch on defense. Here's a three. Darius Johnson-Odom, a senior from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, better known as DJO. You cannot give him any daylight, whether it's off the screens or in a one-on-one situation. The lefty will light it up.
Here's Beal. And a shove and a foul. Looked like Vanderblue got caught up right there, and he picks up his first personal foul. And Reggie, the numbers on the Gators out of the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, no one really expected them to be in the position they are, but they had a huge loss in Will Uget, who went down with the foot injury and has been lost for the season, but other guys have really stepped up.
Broken foot for Uget. He really was the guy that would get that defense, especially full court defense, started.
Right, because he was the head of the snake on that full court press by Billy Donovan.
Irving goes inside with the feed to Young. Outside Beal, a three. Murphy with a nice rebound inside, the sophomore from Kingston, Rhode Island. They got tangled up. And a foul with Jamil Wilson getting in there and crowding it, in 17-13 to play in the first half. Cadogan was reaching in. Cadogan picks up his first.
And that's where Marquette is very vulnerable on the glass. Smallish team, they scramble a lot, but they leave you openings.
Walker. They're a great penetrating team. We talked about the three-point shooting, but they can take it inside a lot of times just as effectively.
Well, a lot of times they drive to kick it back out because of that three-point shooting that they possess, but Walker's one of the best, even at 5'8", of getting into the paint and making things happen. I think that touched the top. It will not count.
It will not count.
Well, actually hit when it hit the apparatus.
That was some kind of shot by Darius Johnson-Odom.
Yeah, it went over the top, hit the back.
Look at the English.
Had it just hit the top, that would have been good.
Johnson-Odom, a first-team All-Big East selection, as was Crowder, in addition to being player of the year in the conference. Here's a look at Jay Crowder from Villa Rica, Georgia. He's a high school quarterback in Georgia. Boynton outside, Eric Murphy. Rebound by Vanderblue. Comes from the state of Wisconsin, Madison Memorial High School. Has a great feed. Wilson gets it, puts it up and in. Wilson's got four. Cadogan with the assist.
What a nice draw. Drew all the defenders to him and understood that Wilson was underneath wide open.
But Murphy coming up short on a couple of wide open threes. He's got to get some leg into it. We know he can shoot it.
Going the other way, Murphy so far has started 0-4 for the Gators.
Well, you take a look at Junior Cadogan right there. All he does is get in the paint and force the defender to make a choice. And right there, Irving made the wrong choice.
Todd Mayo is going to check in for Marquette. Derek Wilson comes in the contest for the Golden Eagles.
Tell you what, to play for Marquette and you're a guard, you must be able to have to do 200 push-ups before signing with the Golden Eagles. All these guards are body beautiful.
Talk about the conditioning of the team. It's something that's stressed right from the very beginning of the season.
Yeah, recognizing the pace at which they play. Buzz Williams knows that his guys have to be in shape, and that's a prime directive. Get in shape first.
Walker goes back to Beal.
See how they make
Wilbekin.
the scramble?
And then outside, a long shot by Casey Prather, who checks in for the Gators. Out of bounds. And we'll take a break at 15:34 to play in the first. All right, great. We've already had one #1 fall tonight, Michigan State. Syracuse surviving by a point, winning that first one in Boston. There's an interception. Beal throwing out of Irving Walker. Wilbekin. Nice ball rotation. Murphy thought about it. He started 0-4, as we mentioned. Bradley Beal.
And Murphy, you can't get gun shy now. That was a wide open three. That's your game.
Todd Mayo is checked in for the Golden Eagles. Crowder is defending the little guard. Walker. They call him a switchable, a 6'6" switchable, because this Crowder can play little guys. He can defend big guys. He doesn't care as long as he can defend.
Well, that's what I said. You can't define him by position. You just call him a basketball player.
Yeah, that's the luxury that Buzz Williams has, especially with a lot of these guys out here. You can switch pick and roll, and you've got Crowder who can guard a 5'8" Irving Walker. That's a luxury to have as a head coach.
Crowder just picked up his first personal foul. Here is 81% free throw shooter Irving Walker, a senior from Brooklyn, New York.
And you can see by his numbers, a prolific player for the time he's been at Florida, despite his diminutive size.
One thing about the Gators, they can score. All 5 starters average double figures.
Take a look at the pressure right now by Florida. You know the adage that a team that presses doesn't like to be pressed. They've already turned it over once.
Crowder, Cadogan. Boynton is on him. Wilbekin is watching Johnson Odom. Mayo is defended by Beal with the deflection right there and picked up by Boynton.
You go about that pressure again by Florida.
Beal with a 3. Bradley Beal, the freshman from Chaminade Prep in St. Louis.
As we talked about at the top, that Florida was going to have to create offense with their defense.
Beal's got 5. Cadogan sifting through traffic. And out of bounds it goes with 14:28 to play. And see real stories of human achievement featured on the Buick Human Highlight Reel at ncaa.com/Buick.
Now Florida comes in with the size of Patrick Young.
Boy, is he built.
Body beautiful. That's my nickname for him. Now what can he do with that body?
Cadogan takes it down the boulevard. There's a whistle. There's an offensive foul.
Love the activity by the Florida Gators here in this first half.
Mike Rosario is in. Cadogan picks up his second personal foul, so that is a story for Buzz Williams right now.
Yeah, that's going to be somewhat of an issue. Junior Cadogan is the point guard, although Buzz Williams has got a couple of guys very capable of running the show out there.
If it's not Wilson, then they're going to move Vanderblue over to that point guard position, which they've done right now.
Rosario to the rack, takes it up and in. Mike Rosario puts it through the transfer from Rutgers.
And you wonder where the help was. The head was buried into their men instead of seeing man ball.
Mayo throws it inside for Crowder. Got it to go with a foul called on the play as Eric Murphy was defending. Crowder averages about 17 points a game, and the foul goes on Murphy for the first time.
Well, Jay Crowder, we told you, he plays anywhere, gets it done anywhere. Look at him flex right here, using that upper body strength despite Murphy strafing him on the arm. Gets him up in the air, gets the ball, and Crowder still capable of getting on the glass.
This is, Reggie, the #1 offense in the Big East in terms of points and shooting.
This is going to be an important matchup for Eric Murphy, because I don't think he has the foot speed to stay with a Jay Crowder. And that's something that Billy Donovan is going to have to address. I know they brought in Prather. I would like to see Casey Prather on Crowder as opposed to Murphy.
Good pick off by Crowder. Here comes Wilson. Johnson Odom for 3. Good! Darius Johnson Odom.
From
Since
anywhere,
the triple, he's got 6.
any place, anytime.
He is not bashful. You call him DJO? He's from deep.
He's the leading scorer for Marquette at 18 points a game. Wilbekin, sophomore from Gainesville. Prather. Patrick Young. Boynton tapped and fouled. Counted for three. He'll go to the line. He was fouled by Darius Johnson-Odom.
And if you're Johnson-Odom, you've got to close out quicker to Boynton. Further with a nice pass over, but you can't allow him to get his feet set. You've got to run him off that three-point line. That's a good call there by the official. The contact happened down low.
And the ball was in the middle of the floor, so there was no need to get buried in the paint for help.
Boynton hits it. That's his sixth four-point play of the season.
Got him.
Johnson-Odom, there's a football pass. Jamel Wilson couldn't convert. Boy, he was right there on the doorstep. Rosario, surprised how open he is, takes it into a thicket. That's a tie-up because of a good lunge inside by Jay Crowder.
Well, I'll tell you what, Darius Johnson-Odom pulled a string to get open. And here he throws a perfect pass.
Well, it's okay. You don't always have to be on top 10 on ESPN. You can easily just lay it in.
Crowder's going to check out. Now they change their look, does Marquette. They bring in big 6'8" sophomore Devontae Gardner, who missed some time with a knee injury, 8 games. The Golden Eagles had to kind of reinvent themselves just a bit. Now he comes in with the big man inside.
Yeah, that changes the look a little bit in the half court. As Gardner's a big load. Down low, third leading scorer.
Getting in the way, that was Patrick Young. Out of bounds it goes. Get the latest gear for your team at the official store of the NCAA. Find great hoops merchandise at ncaa.com/shop.
It's interesting listening to Darius Johnson-Odom. He says when we go down low to Gardner, he commands a double team. It's interesting to see if they do that with the bigger Patrick Young guarding him.
Pointing out to Prather. Marquette's turned the ball over 6 times early in this game. Young, good feed. Rosario puts it up and in. And little 6-0 run here for the Gators.
I'll tell you what, going 4 guards has given a great deal of mobility to Florida. And a nice pass there by Patrick Young along the baseline. Mike Rosario known for shooting the 3, but each time he's gotten the ball, he's been assertive going to the basket.
Here comes Jay Crowder. There goes Jamel Wilson out for the Golden Eagles, who had 14 Big East wins. That was a Marquette school record in conference play. Cadogan trying to fight through traffic and belted and fouled on the play. And Prather will pick up his first. Casey is a sophomore from Jackson, Tennessee.
And Billy Donovan, he is going to extend this pressure full court. He feels that he can turn over Marquette. Junior Cadogan going to have to be very careful with the basketball here.
Cadogan's got it. Buzz Williams, his coach, says we are on the same wavelength. He is such an extension to me on the floor. I don't know where we'd be without him at the point. Gardner trying to set a screen. Cadogan with the shot clock down to 9 and 12 to play in the first. A long 3. Rebound yanked by Irving Walker. Bill Rosario loading up and fanning with the Mayo rebound for Marquette.
Yeah, but a pretty good look in transition. Rosario, you got to be able to knock that down. But if you're Billy Donovan, you'll take it.
Shifty moves inside by Darius Johnson-Odom. Boy, he shifted gear. He's got 8 points.
Yeah, he's got a variety of ways that he can get to the basket. We saw a supreme jump shot, but he also puts it on the floor. Again, another guy with upper body strength, able to take the bumps and still finish.
Gators shooting 40%. Beal 2 of 3. Ross Crowder looking for Rosario. Out of bounds and a turnover for the Gators. 17-17 in this Sweet 16 game. Back in Phoenix, Arizona. Time now for the Powerade Sideline Reporters who swing it over to Marty Snyder.
Well, Kevin, yesterday I would say Marquette's practice was very loose. In fact, in the last 15 minutes, the guys were just fooling around, shooting half-court shots. And as Reggie Miller will tell you, our cameras are always rolling. This is Coach Buzz Williams. You see him highlighted right there. And Buzz from half-court on his second attempt and it's good, believe it or not. Now here's what I want to see. Check out the celebration. He told me he was diving into the pool and taking a little swim because that was splashdown. Reg, how come you never celebrated like that? How come you never celebrated like that when you made a 3, Reg?
I don't know if I could get down that low, Marty. That's the problem.
He's a loose guy, there's no doubt about that. Always loses his voice and has a cup of honey in a teaspoon right by the bench that he is constantly eating or drinking or whatever you do with honey. That's what he does to kind of coat that throat edge, which is always sore. Under 11 to play here in the first half. This is Crowder. A long 3 picked up by Murphy. Florida with 20-plus wins for 14 consecutive seasons. Orchestrated by Coach Billy Donovan. Now in his 16th year in Gainesville. Beal, point. A 3 from Boynton. Murphy got a hand on it, as did Crowder. That's off of the Golden Eagles.
So we take a look at Bradley Beal again, a guy who also has pretty significant numbers. Double-double is what he's averaging in the tournament. And with that frame, strong body, long arms, the ability to knock down shots.
He was the Gatorade National High School Player of the Year from St. Louis. Another great Gator came from there. David Lee, same high school, knocked away beautifully inside. Cadogan. Oh, Beal, the guy we were just talking about, flying high, swatting the ball away.
And that's what you talk about, not giving up on the play. Beal running in transition. You think he has a wide open layup, and Beal out of nowhere with the rejection.
And what length for a guard right there.
6'3", 6'4", is second on this team in rebounding. All SEC as a freshman.
As a freshman, yep. He really made a splash for this program. Darius Johnson-Odom. Inside, Devontae Gardner. Got his own miss. And puts it back up and in for his first 2 tonight.
And that gives Marquette a dimension that, quite honestly, Florida doesn't have. Patrick Young, big guy in the middle, but he doesn't have the moves inside. Devontae Gardner makes you have to guard him because he's got moves inside and he's big and strong.
I'll tell you what, there's no way that Murphy's going to be able to guard Gardner down low, one-on-one.
Robikin is back in. Outside, he feeds to Kenny Boynton. Murphy, a 3. Beal pushing off and a foul, and he was shoved beforehand by Jay Crowder.
That's 2 fouls on Crowder.
It sure is. He picks up his second. They got 2 on Cadogan. And coming up in the AT&T at the half, Greg Gumbel, Greg Anthony, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Charles Barkley will take you out for a live look at Cincinnati against the Buckeyes in a Sweet 16 game on CBS. They'll have the latest NCAA tournament news, plus a Naismith Watch presented by AT&T. That's all coming up on the AT&T at the half.
And now if you're Buzz Williams, you just take out Crowder. Just a little over 9 minutes left.
Walker missing the shot off of Murphy. He goes flying in there, and out of bounds it goes. And so a turnover right there for the Florida Gators.
I know you can't sit him for the rest of the half. He's too active. He's too important to your team.
But he's going to have to play smart as a senior.
Right.
Buzz Williams is going to manage his time, probably, kind of spoon feed him some minutes with the hope that he doesn't get in foul trouble. 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there.
Crowder back in with the 2 fouls, and here comes Cadogan from Toronto the other way. He's a junior. Johnson-Odom. Crowder trying to dig it out. Murphy getting gutty with it. And pretty play by Devontae Gardner. You better believe it. Under 9 to play in the first half. Crowder wheeling inside. Knocked away by Beal and a foul. Boy, Johnson-Odom's been terrific so far. 8 points for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, and he got it going with his jump shot. Talked about all Big East player along with Crowder. The guy that can stretch the floor with that 3-point shooting.
Beal just picked up his first personal foul. Here is Crowder at the line. Great recruiting story for him. Didn't get a lot of D1 offers, so went to Hutchinson Junior College in Kansas. Buzz Williams made the trip out there from Milwaukee, and in the game that he was going to recruit and scout Crowder, he only played 9 minutes because he got in all kinds of foul problems. So he watched him on the bench, and he was so impressed the way he remained in the game, stay engaged, and with campus unseen by Crowder, the scholarship was offered, Crowder accepted, and the rest is history.
And now you're a Big East player of the year, but he fits right into what Buzz Williams wants. Think about some of the players that Buzz has had. Wes Matthews, Jimmy Butler, who's with his, these are all guys at that 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" range that can play 1 through 4, 1 through 5 on his team.
Here's Prather, goes right by Gardner with a little mid-range shot and puts it down. Casey Prather, he comes off a game of 14 points against UVA in the round of 64. Way outside, it won't go on the miss. 3, rebound by Kenny Boynton. What a pace to this game.
A little bit different than that Michigan State Louisville game.
Both of these teams average about 76 points per game. They want to get up and down.
Crowder with a rebound for Marquette. That's his first tonight.
And again, getting up and down emphasizes their advantages, particularly Marquette with their athletes out on the floor.
Crowder with a triple. Rebound by Kenny Boynton at 6'2". He collects his second rebound. Alley-oop. Oh, Prather contorts in mid-flight.
Did I say
Flight 24 is cleared for landing. Woo,
did I say Florida had athletes too? Good gracious.
My goodness. Here's Todd Mayo.
And that's why you want to get up and down, take advantage of all that.
Nice slicing move inside by Vanderblue and the rebound by Wilbekin.
Right, got to be careful. Right.
You don't want to
Great
pick him a
minds
cheap
think
third.
alike, bro.
Wilbekin puts in a 3. His defense has been important. Wilbekin has now made 11 of his last 18 three-point shots.
Everyone always talks about the Marquette athletes. I think Florida is like, don't forget about us. Boynton to Prather right there in transition. Look how he contorts his body sideways, catches it, and squares up with the rim. Nice finish there by the young fella.
And remember, Prather was battling the flu against Norfolk State in the round of 32, but he says now he's 100% and he's completely rid himself of that.
Well, you get a couple of plays like that, that's the elixir that makes you feel a lot better.
Yeah, I know. Find out what that is. Approaching 7 to play here in the first half. The winner will take on Louisville, who took care of #1 seed Michigan State. Here in Phoenix in game 1, Cadogan finds Wilson for 3. The 6'7" Wilson, an undersized center, puts it down. He's got a basket right there. He averages 7 a game. He's got 7 already.
And with both Gardner and Wilson in the game, Marquette has gone probably as big as they can go. Looking to do a better job off the glass.
You're right. Size is a precious commodity at Marquette.
And we said spoon-feed minutes to Jay Crowder with 2 fouls. He's had a couple on the bench. He'll probably see a couple more before this half is over.
Wilbekin inside to Young. Shoved by Gardner, who's going to pick up the foul. He's only back about 80% from that knee injury, but they need him. He just picked up his first personal. We're back in Phoenix, and you take a look at the game summary. There's a 1-point difference. Florida on top of Marquette by 1 point. And the difference is 1 more made free throw. You can see both have gone 9 of 22 from the field. Both have hit 3 3-point shots. And here is the free throw shooter, Patrick Young. And all-new Conan O'Brien is a slam dunk. And don't miss any of it. Conan, all new Monday at 11 Eastern, 10 Central on TBS. Gardner picked up the foul, and that's why Young is at the line for the Gators. That's the first on him.
Now, how do you handle this full court pressure by the Gators?
Marquette's got more than enough ball handlers. The question is whether they attack it like they need to. And there you go.
Oh, man, what a block shot there by
Vanderblue is the one to put it in on the missed shot by Cadogan, who's playing with a couple of fouls. Blue with his first 2 points of the game. Approaching 6 to play here in the first half. Good screen by Young. Frees up Beal. Now drawing the double. Here's Rosario. Wheeling around. Prather. And picked up by Vanderblue. Into Wilbekin, held, and a foul with 5:43 to play in the first half.
Well, we emphasize the athletes on the floor, and that Florida's got some. Nice job there.
Look at Prather. We talked about his alley-oop finish. Now the block shot with the left hand in transition.
But Marquette never gave up on it. And in a game like this, where you know guys are going to get up and get a piece of the ball, you want to be sure you're in the right place at the right time. So you can't concede anything.
Prather picks up his second personal foul for the Gators. And a discussion, I think, now maybe on a substitution. As you look at Billy Donovan, only Adolph Rupp owns a better winning percentage through 500 games at an SEC school. 2 national championships, 3 Final Fours for Billy D.
What back-to-back national championships. In this era, how hard is that to do?
Johnson Odom, rebound by Young. Johnson Odom that's the third rebound for Young. 8 points for Darius. Walker wheeling. Rosario an open triple. And Darius Johnson Odom back again. Racing the other way. Vanderblue. Rebound by Murphy.
Well, the looks are there for both teams.
Absolutely.
Wide open.
I'd like to see Murphy get going.
Irving Walker.
Tell you what, it's such a lull without Crowder on the floor for the Golden Eagles. Now with those 2 fouls, Buzz Williams doesn't want to risk him picking up that third in this first half.
I still believe he might get a couple more minutes down the stretch. Again, spoon feed him the minutes. Try to keep him out of a rhythm that ultimately creates a foul situation.
Gardner and into Wilson. And a shove. Well, we've had some individual performances worth watching, of course, as the foul just went on Cadogan for the 3rd time. That is a story. Fair and Scoop Jardine for Syracuse. Bohannon and Jang with those 7 blocks was such a force for the Cardinals in that win.
And yeah, you're probably saying, why is Jang in there with only 5 points? It was those 7 block shots of just really manning up that lane for the Cardinals.
He set a single season record, and he passed Purvis Ellison with all those blocks. He now has 123 for the season.
Yeah, well, he certainly is a guy that understands the game. When you can block that many shots, especially as a secondary defender, that means you're reading the plays and you're getting the help nicely. But how about Shane Bohannon? 15 points all in the second half. He was scoreless at the beginning of the half.
Irving Walker at the free throw line. He has kind of had a different role this season. He has become almost more of a facilitator than in the past. And he's obviously accepted that role well for a team that needed that kind of role to be played.
Well, I mean, when you're a guy like Irvin Walker and you've got prolific scoring behind you, everybody's game planning for you. And so from that standpoint, you've got to be able to be the decoy and make other guys better.
It's what has allowed Beal to be successful on this team as a freshman, because someone had to let down their guard offensively, and it was Walker.
Blue with Rosario right there, 4.5 to play here in the first half. The winner, he'll take on Louisville to beat top seed Michigan State. Good entry feed into Devontae Gardner. Another offensive rebound for him, knocked away by Rosario. He can't save it for the Gators with some nice hustle there by Mike Rosario. Marty?
We talk about Irving Walker, and when I asked Billy Donovan about the change he would have to make this year, he said he was never once worried about what Irving would say about it. He went to him, he said, Coach, I'll do whatever I need to do to make our team better. If it means scoring less, distributing the ball more, I'll do that. He's not necessarily a vocal leader, but he'll do whatever it takes to win on the court.
He is the #1 all-time Florida Gator assist leader, #2 all-time in 3-pointers.
Just looking at Devontae Gardner, he is not 100% back from that left knee injury.
Yeah, he's got no lift.
No lift. His gait looks off somewhat. He can't get up. I'm sure it's frustrating to him.
He was taking the place of Chris Atule, who was injured early in the season. He started the season as the center at 6'11". He was injured. Gardner comes in. He was injured. They had to shift on the fly. There's a good-looking shot by Todd Mayo. And if that last name rings a bell, the younger brother of O.J. Mayo, who played at USC.
And we saw Chris Smith in that earlier game, his brother J.R. Smith for the Knicks, and now we have Todd Mayo, younger brothers doing work this evening.
Look at him run. Blue to the rack, and a foul for the Gators. Under 4 to play in the first half from Phoenix. Well, you take a look at the 4 number ones. Michigan State losing here earlier to Louisville. Tomorrow we got Kentucky against Indiana, a rematch of an earlier game where Indiana won at the buzzer in Bloomington. Syracuse has defeated 4th-seeded Wisconsin by a point. Jordan Taylor in a last-second try there for the Badgers. And tomorrow, North Carolina will take on Ohio. Point guard Kendall Marshall had the cast taken off today. There is every indication coming from the North Carolina camp that he will not play tomorrow. Here is Vanderblue at the free throw line for the Golden Eagles. This year, enjoy more madness with Coke Zero. Text 2013 to 2653 for a chance to win a trip to next year's 2013 NCAA Men's Final Four. That's a lot of numbers, but we got a good audience out there.
And Kevin, just a word on Kendall Marshall in Carolina. He is the one player who I think is totally indispensable to his team. You might say Anthony Davis for Kentucky, but his absence changes that Carolina look.
Beal just puts in a 3, hitting from outside. He's got 8. As we went to break, Eric Murphy picked up his second foul for the Gators. We have 3.5 to play in the half here in the second game of the Sweet 16 in Phoenix.
If you're Buzz Williams and you're going to go to that 3-quarter trap, you got to understand you've got to get to shooters. Florida always has 2 or 3 shooters on the floor at the time.
We've had 6 ties and 6 lead changes. No lead has been greater than 5 in this first half. It's been fun to watch. Outside point. Rebound lassoed inside by Jamil Wilson. 3 to play. Mayo from Huntington, West Virginia. Blue trying to get a Gardner screen. And the subsequent drive, and the tap in by Gardner won't go.
Yeah, the offense, you could tell, is not ran the same way when Condugan's not on the floor. 2 fouls to Condugan, 2 fouls to Crowder.
Patrick Young with a nice dunk inside. He's got 3.
I'm surprised Devontae Gardner trying to dance around to get in front of Patrick Young. Got caught in that rotation. Why not play right behind him? Patrick Young, as athletic as he is still raw down in the paint. Doesn't have a lot of offensive moves as a post guy.
Yeah, make him earn it.
Mayo. Gardner, the screen, opens up the shot. Rebound by Wilbekin. And it goes to Boynton. What a rejection. My goodness. Oh, count it. Goaltending. It'll count for 2. The Gators up by 4. The 6th point for Boynton.
Well, you take a look, miscommunication as Gardner goes around in front, and they find Young. And here on the block, it definitely hits the board.
Great call.
Hits the board first. The official's right on the spot.
Gators a little 7-0 run here right before halftime.
Yeah, they're forcing Marquette to shoot the ball from the outside and not really get penetration until just then.
Corkscrew move inside by Mayo, picked up by Rosario.
And when they have taken shots and missed, Florida now not allowing the second chance opportunities that Marquette thrived on earlier.
Wilbekin saw the mismatch on Wilson, finds Young. Rebound cradled inside by Wilson. He's got 4 rebounds.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to throw it to the rim, but if you're Young, you got to come down with that. You've got the size advantage down low. You got to use it to your advantage.
Yeah, that was kind of a finesse game.
Right.
From guys who are built like they can be rugged and stand the contact.
And looking at Young, he reminds me of a taller version of a Ben Wallace. Virginia Union grad.
Shot clock at 6.
Again, another perimeter shot.
Marquette has missed 17 of the last 21 shots, trailing now by 4. Well, it's been a good night so far for the Big East. Syracuse getting their first Elite Eight since 2003. Cincinnati and the Buckeyes are playing over on CBS. You can watch that. And finish your night with the second half of Florida and Marquette. 15 seconds to play here in the first half of basketball.
Well, the Big East eliminating 2 Big Ten teams. And when the debate continues, that's certainly some fodder for Big East aficionados who say that their conference is stronger.
Gators on a 7-0 run.
Not that will solve anything.
And it's a one-and-done situation.
Beal is back in. Out to Walker. Defended by Derek Wilson.
And nicely laid up. Knowing that Gardner has no elevation, Beal just took it right to him, laid it up high on the window.
Beal's got 10. Gators have their biggest lead.
If you look at the wingspan on Bill, he might be 6'3", 6'4", but he plays about 7'1".
Second difference, game clock and shot clock winding down in the first half. This is Derek Wilson, a freshman from Anchorage, Alaska, the backup point guard who doesn't turn the ball over. He's been very steady. And a quick lunge right there. And a foul goes on Walker, who picks up his first personal foul for the Florida Gators.
They had one to give.
Now they're going to bring Crowder off the bench. Also, they're going to bring off Junior Cadogan. A couple guys with some foul issues. Cadogan's got 3. Crowder's got 2 fouls.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Can pick up a cheap offensive foul or over the back if there's a missed shot if you're Crowder or Cadogan.
Well, the expectation is these guys are veterans. They know better.
Shot clock is off. Screen by Wilson. Cadogan diving inside. Wilbekin with a bit of a shove. 2.3 to play. Foul goes on Patrick Young.
And this is smart by Buzz Williams. You're playing offense for defense. Now you probably get Crowder out with those 2 fouls. Cadogan's at the free throw line. So after these 2, you get them both out so they don't pick up a cheap third.
Young picks up his first personal foul. One thing about Marquette, they've been pretty resilient this year. They've had second half rallies in 6 games where they've gone on to win. So no deficit for them seems to really stick in their craw. They usually get back.
And their style really serves them well as far as coming back, being able to climb the mountaintop. As they'll create turnovers and they get on a run. 2 missed free throws, though, that hurt.
Prather got the loose ball. That's it. But Florida does end that first half. Coach Billy Donovan watches his Gators going a 9-0 run over the last 3:53 of the half. Beal, only player for the Gators in double figures with 10. And the Marquette Golden Eagles have got 8 from Darius Johnson-Odom and over to Marty Snyder.
Well, Billy, such a tight game. How are you guys able to make that run there at the end of the half?
Well, you know, I think offensively we've had some good looks. We haven't made some shots, and then we've made some poor decisions. But, you know, the biggest thing was they missed some shots as well, which allowed us to get out on the break, and then we're able to score. But obviously, when Crowder's out of the game, it changes their team, and he's obviously a terrific player.
All right, thanks, Billy.
Thank you.
Kev?
All right, Marty, thank you. 6 points is equaling the biggest lead of the game for Florida on top at halftime. We're going to send you to the AT&T at the half after these messages. You're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Welcome back to Phoenix. The winner here will take on Louisville. 36-30 is our halftime score. Kevin Harlan alongside Lenny Elmore and Reggie Miller. Only one player in double figures so far. That's Bradley Beal, the freshman for the Gators.
Well, if this is his first NCAA tournament, you could have fooled me. I mean, he's come out here, played as coolly and as calmly as you'd expect a veteran. 4 or 5 from the field, including 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. 10 points, 4 rebounds. He's got 2 assists, and he's got the game coming to him easily.
And the Golden Eagles on the season shot 46% as a team, but you've seen all the bricks in that first half, only 31%, and I agree with Sir Charles Barkley. Jay Crowder has to be the best player on the floor in this second half.
Well, Crowder, in the last 13:57, no field goals and 1 single point. As you take a look at some of our numbers through the first 20 minutes of basketball here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, the saving grace for Marquette has been their tenacity on the boards. 9 offensive rebounds, 13 second chance points to just 2 for Florida, and also 4 of 10 from beyond the arc. Without that, they'd be buried.
had a chance to talk with Billy Donovan in the back, and he's going to try to get Eric Murphy going a little bit. He's had some wide open looks in that first half.
Irving Walker on the floor. Boynton's got the ball. Patrick is out there along with Murphy. There's Beal. That's the Gator 5. Beal to Murphy. Nice rejection inside, recorded by Jamil Wilson. Racing the other way is Darius Johnson-Odom.
And you've got to be impressed when you see Marquette flying down the floor. They drive hard, man. You look at their faces, they are determined.
So Johnson-Odom is out there. Wilson, Crowder, Cadogan, along with Vander Blue. That's the Golden Eagle 5, and a missed shot outside by Eric Murphy.
2 possessions, 2 shots for Murphy. That's exactly what Donovan said he was going to try to do.
Crowder gets his miss. Blue trying to clean it up. Murphy in there gobbling up the rebound. He's collected 4. And the other way racing is Walker. Beal thought about 3. He got Cadogan in the air. And on goes Beal.
And you see Wilson holding his head a little bit. That was a hard pass to the face of Wilson, but nice little pump fake here by Beal, taking the contact to pick up the foul.
Huge story now. The point guard, Cadogan, with 4 personals. He is gone.
Yeah, and he's the guy that runs the show for Marquette, particularly in their half-court offense. You know, when they get out in transition, they got any number of guys that can lead them. But in the half-court, and if Florida wants to slow this down and make it a half-court game, Marquette may be lacking their leader.
Yeah, but Florida is not going to slow this game down.
How about there's a problem with the clock right now? How about Cadogan, Reg? No points, 4 fouls now, 3 turnovers at the point guard.
So if you're Buzz Williams, you brought in Mayo, the freshman, but you also have Derek Wilson on your bench, the normal backup point guard to Cadogan. But you're right, man. This is a setback for the Golden Eagles of Marquette with their floor general on the bench with 4 fouls.
And as I said, I don't know if it hurts them in transition because they got a lot of guys that can lead it. But in a half-court situation like this, if Florida forces Marquette to play in half-court, Marquette's at a disadvantage.
Murphy laying a little bit of wood there on the screen on the wing. Again, he drives up a high screen. Beal looking inside. Young, good move. Nice fake, and he got Wilson up in the air, and he's got 5.
See how he gathered himself? He didn't rush. Came to a 2-foot jump shot and then went up powerful to the rim.
Crowder is 2 of 7. Mayo in the game 1 of 3. Johnson-Odom is 4 of 9, so he's really been the only guy that's been hit.
And this is the kind of half-court situation that I think the loss of Cadogan has impact on Marquette adversely.
Well, we talked about Patrick Young slowing down low. As the ball comes in, he takes his time. We're in the game of college and as well as pros. The lost art of big men in the jump shot is almost extinct. That was a good move there by Young to gather his feet.
Young just picked up his 2nd personal foul. And here comes Vander Blue. Todd Mayo. Wilson with a nice screen, knocking out Walker. Jamil Wilson backing his way into Young. Murphy with the rebound, 5th. Boynton, Young, and the Gators set. Gators average 10 made threes a game. They've got 4 so far.
Yeah, they like to put them up. There's no question about it. Marquette, though, playing very tightly, not giving them open opportunity. And if you're not going to get the open opportunity and your defender's going to play you belly to belly, that's exactly what you do. Put it on the floor and force them to guard you going to the rack.
Wheels got 12.
I don't think I would say this, but there is a freshman on the floor that is the best player. We thought it was going to be Jay Crowder, but it's been Bradley Beal.
3 minutes now gone here in the second half.
You get no argument from me. Beal playing like a savvy veteran out there.
Crowder trying to force the issue.
Oh, it should have been
he grabbed it.
interference.
You're right. Grabbed the net. 8 points now for Crowder. The NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship continues Saturday on ESPN with regional semifinal action as Tennessee will take on the Kansas Jayhawks. Coverage begins at noon Eastern. For more information on the Women's Championship, go to ncaa.com. The game began like a track meet. It is settled now into this kind of rhythm. A lot of half-court ball. Boynton with the drive and the floater. Patrick Young chiseling through room, and he could not get it to go, and it was picked up by Blue, and here comes Marquette the other way. Todd Mayo. Rebound, Boynton. He'll push the pedal to the metal and find Beal.
Well, it's all about either turnovers or quick shots. That's what leads to transition up and down, and when Florida and Marquette kind of string those together, that's when we see the track meet.
Boynton, Walker, a long triple, and picked up inside by Jamil Wilson. He's got 5 rebounds for the Golden Eagles.
Florida does a good job of drive and replace, especially with all those shooters. Boynton, Walker, Beal.
Bad shooting so far. 2 of 7 for each team in the second half. Thus far, firing from the field.
Wow, bad shooting all afternoon between that first game as well.
15:33 to play in the second half for the chance to go to the Elite Eight. Double-digit deficits, as you can see, that the Golden Eagles have gone through and come back to win this season. So it is in their history, on their resume. They've only trailed tonight by as many as 8.
But it's all in their style right now, the way they scramble you. They get you out of rhythm for extended periods of time, gives them a chance to get back in the ball games that they've gotten behind in.
Traylor has come in for the Gators. Shot clock at 5. Murphy for 3. Good! Puts it down. That's a 3. He is 1 of 8. They've been waiting for him to go. He can shoot. Comes off the bench last season, a starter this year.
And he was about to explode out of his skin on that one.
Well, he wasn't the only one. Look at Billy Donovan.
Well, he averaged 19 points a game in the Southeastern Conference tournament. So the guy was scoring, but tonight he's been really struggling. He's just given the Florida Gators their biggest lead. Mayo and Crowder. Johnson Odom. Wilson down low. Cadogan's on the bench with 4 fouls, and Vanderblue, the 5th Golden Eagle on the floor, a turnover. Under 15 to play. Gators holding on to the 43-34 lead. Louisville won early on the Big East team. Right now we got Marquette still alive but trailing. Cincinnati is losing right now to Ohio State. Syracuse has won. Big Ten's got a couple of teams. Big 12 with 2. Number 1 seed Michigan State losing. Early tonight here in Phoenix. With the ball is Irving Walker. Crowder is still on the floor. Crowder averaged in the first 2 games 21 points. Here is Beal, puts in a 3. Bradley Beal whacks one through. He's got 3 triples tonight.
And to tell you how cohesive the Florida offense has been, that's the 17th field goal and the 13th assist on field goal. So they've been able to run their stuff. We talk about Marquette's defense being disruptive. Florida's found a way to be able to share the ball and find the open man.
Casey Prather in the contest with Murphy and Beal and Boynton, along with Walker. That's the Gator 5. Watch every game on the road to the Final Four live on your computer, iPad, iPhone, or select Android phones with NCAA March Madness Live. Visit ncaa.com/March Madness for more information.
And I agree exactly what Buzz Williams is doing right now. When you're in a one-and-done situation, Cadogan back on the floor with those 4 fouls. He understands the offense has become very stagnant here.
Johnson Odom putting up the 3. Rebound by Murphy. Florida's on a 19-4 run. Murphy grabs his 7th rebound.
And they've also prevented Marquette from getting second chance opportunities. They had a ton of them in the first half.
Murphy. Johnson Odom right there. Cadogan is watching the dribbling point. Florida's not turned the ball over in 10 minutes. Going back to late first half. Murphy. Switch on defense. Devontae Gardner coming off the Buzz Williams bench. Shot clock is down to 4. Murphy plying his way in for 2.
How about Murphy not settling there? Usually a stretch 4, a pick and pop 4. Puts the ball on the deck, gets to the rim.
21-4 run, timeout, Buzz Williams. The Golden Eagles are watching the sand go through that hourglass, down by their largest deficit of 48-34. Gators by 14. TBS this May. Girls, smack. Girls, basketball, girls. That's pretty much summing it up. Men at Work, a brand new comedy series. For the latest news, like us on Facebook.
It's pretty good there, partner. How you got that promo out?
Well, whenever you guys read those things. Wilbekin is checked in. Prather's out there. Murphy. Point remains in the contest, and Beal. Florida's 5. Crowder out there. Johnson Odom. Cadogan will inbound with 4 fouls. Gets it off to Wilson. And Gardner, the 5th Golden Eagle, finding his way into Murphy. 2 points right there. Gardner's got 4.
I'll give Gardner a lot of credit because he has 0 lift. He's playing out here, I would say, at 65 to 70%.
Well, you can see him dragging that left leg.
That's a gutsy effort for a guy that just wants to experience the tournament.
It's so obvious that he's dragging that leg.
For a sophomore, it's tough.
Mayo on the floor. Here's Prather, fouled by Wilson. So now Marquette, which had to play like this for a string of games with Gardner's injury. Smaller but certainly fast. And point right by Crowder to the rack. Mayo with the rebound.
You got to make these transition opportunities count. You're not going to get many of them.
Cadogan. Prather the rebound.
You're not going to get it back all in one possession.
Marquette 3 of 12 shooting in this second half of play. 5 of 11 shooting for the Gators in the second half. Prather free to fire. Missed 3, the Crowder rebound. Mayo into Prather, into the hole. Todd Mayo puts it in, and he's got 5.
I like what Buzz Williams and the Golden Eagles are trying to do here, speed up the game.
Which is how the game began, with a very good pace. 10-point game, the energetic Buzz Williams trying to rally the troops. Well, the top 2 seeds in the East have advanced to the Elite 8, so it'll be Syracuse and Ohio State. We were in Pittsburgh last week, this crew was, so we got to see 2 games from the Buckeyes and 2 games from the Orange last week in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think that game's going to be decided by rebounding, particularly offensive rebounding. If Syracuse is vulnerable, Ohio State gets on the glass hard.
Deshaun Thomas, his ability to stretch the floor, and we know about that matchup 2-3 zone by Syracuse. And he continued to hit those outside shots.
Gardner working inside on Young, and there is a foul, and Young will pick it up. That's the 3rd on Patrick Young, and Gardner will be at the line.
Well, you wonder if anybody's been watching and sizing Gardner up throughout this game. They know he can barely get off the ground. So why would you body up? If I'm Patrick Young, I'll body up till he receives and then step back because I know that he's not going to get up high enough for me not to be able to bother the shot or even block the shot.
Dante Gardner, a sophomore from Suffolk, Virginia. Here comes Vander Blue in the contest. Murphy for the Gators. Cadogan will check out with the 4 fouls, so they're really going to try to nurse his play with 11.5 to play. You think about the royalty of college basketball, Duke and Carolina and Kansas and Kentucky and some of those schools. Indiana probably is in that conversation too. They've been to 15 Sweet 16s. Marquette, this is their 15th Sweet 16, as you see Jamil Wilson check back in the contest for Gardner. And sometimes you don't think of Marquette in those terms, but they're right there with Indiana, for instance.
Well, you think back to Al McGuire.
Yep, exactly.
Marquette, mini dynasty finalists, won a national finalist in '74, won a national championship a couple of years later.
There's a timeout. It's taken by Florida. They lead 48-39. After the game on TBS here, it's Inside March Madness presented by Buick with Matt Weiner, Seth Davis from Sports Illustrated, Steve Smith, one of the great Spartans of all time, and VCU head coach Shaka Smart. The bright young stars on the landscape of college basketball coaching. All coming up after the game. Right here on TBS. Wilbekin gets a Murphy screen, and this is over Vander Blue. Or Mayo, rather. Mayo could not get the rebound, but lassoed by Jamil Wilson.
Well, that time Marquette came out in 2-3 zone. A little bit smallish right now. You want to protect Jay Crowder particularly from foul trouble.
Darius Johnson-Odom tried to push it. Rosario losing the ball. Vanderbilt's got it. Mayo. Crowder, a three. Oh, that would have been huge. Murphy with the rebound.
That was a strong rebound by Eric Murphy.
Crowder still struggling here. We talked about him being the best player on the floor in this second half. Has yet to score.
3 of 10. Crowder with 8. Kick from the line. Crowder's been averaging, as we mentioned before, 21 in the tournament. Just 8 points tonight. Wilbekin.
Nice ball.
It sure is. Murphy open on the baseline. Good rebound by Patrick Young.
Might have got away with the travel there.
Walker with a 3. And the hustle of Johnson-Odom brings it back to the Golden Eagles. He's got 4. And takes it all the way to the other end with a foul called on the Gators. Looked like Wilbekin was in there reaching. And Wilbekin will pick up his first personal foul.
I know there are about 10 minutes left in this ball game. That last Florida possession, though, I thought Irvin Walker could have backed it out and forced Marquette to play defense once again. I mean, they have the advantage. They've got the lead. And they were really in rhythm with the ball movement. They could have found another open shooter just by moving that ball. Instead, he takes a quick shot, which leads to Marquette transition. Remember I said quick shots and turnovers. That's how Marquette gets the run.
Beal for Wilbekin. Johnson-Odom at the line.
Got to make them pay, though, if you're Marquette. You're missing too many free throws here in this second half. When you get down 8, 9, 10 points, and you're trying to struggle to get yourself back into a ball game, every little thing counts.
Told you Wilbekin just picked up his first. Here's Walker. Young is out there. Beal, who's been the leading scorer. Murphy, Rosario, the Gator 5.
Boy, Mayo dogging Bradley Beal.
Murphy, a 3. And the rebound yanked down by Vanderbilt. Galloping the other way and picked up by Murphy.
Is that off the back extension? Is it
Looked
blocked?
like it, but it was hard to tell. We had different depth perception. Officials right there. It did go behind the basket, no question.
Bradley Beal with a Murphy screen. Wilson comes out on Beal. Walker guarded by Jay Crowder. Murphy is picked up by Mayo.
Mismatch. Mayo needs to hold his ground, man. Murphy not necessarily a post-up player.
Johnson-Odom takes it in. Ooh. That's a travel. And you can see the leading scorers, what they've been averaging and what they have posted tonight.
Well, you credit Florida. Pretty good defense. Jay Crowder in foul trouble. Devontae Gardner knee bothering him, so he doesn't have any lift. And Darius Johnson-Odom's getting the shots.
Yeah, but he's 4 of 11. So that's not a great percentage. Obviously, he has 11 points, but if you're taking 11 shots to get 11 points,
that's what I said.
He's not good.
He's getting the shots. I didn't say he was making them.
Derek Wilson has come in. Freshman from Anchorage for Marquette. Beal. Walker. The fake. Mayo pick. And picked up by Todd Mayo.
So what Florida is letting Marquette hang around here. Marquette just can't score a basket.
Crowder is 3 of 10 with a whistle. Timeout Marquette. A night where they're shooting 29%. 8.5 to play here in the second half. The winner going to the Elite Eight. They'll play Louisville on Saturday, and some of the numbers so far through this one.
Florida not basketball as we told 342 made threes coming into tonight's contest. 6 of 22 from downtown. In the tournament, they've been 7 of 42 in their first 2 games against Virginia and Norfolk State.
Cadogan back in. Crowder with the ball. Marquette began at 6 of 10 tonight from the field. On their way since that time, 21%, 9 of 41. Gardner, Murphy defender. Knocked away by Beal. Shove in there by Murphy. 9 seconds on the shot clock.
That's all I would do if I'm Murphy. I would just stay in front, keep my hands up, and make Gardner shoot over.
And you don't need any help.
No.
Murphy picks up his third personal foul for the Gators, the sophomore. And once again, Devontae Gardner at the free throw line.
Sometimes guys give in the instinct, though. Hands straight up. Guy gets ready to shot. They lower those hands thinking they get a piece of the ball. That requires an awful lot of discipline to play the defense we're talking about.
Gardner from Virginia, as we talked about before, two-time first-team All-State selection last year as a freshman, the sixth-man award winner for this Marquette team. Back in the game comes Vanderblue, and out goes Cadogan.
Yeah, offense, defense. Cadogan with those 4 fouls. Now you got Vanderblue on the floor, but you let Cadogan at the offensive end run your offense.
7 of 12 shooting from the free throw line for the Golden Eagles tonight, and the Gators have shot 6 of 7 from the stripe. Gardner is out, and Jamil Wilson checks back in.
Well, here's the time for Marquette. If they're going to make a run in this game, it's going to have to be within the next 2 minutes.
Boy, Jay Crowder's got to be real careful here.
Marquette's on an 8-2 run.
A couple of times he tried to step and cut off a path, almost made contact.
Wilson will pick up the foul for the Marquette Golden Eagles. First on him. 8:06 to play. Look at Billy Donovan, who played in the Final Four. Assistant coach at Kentucky with Pitino. Now in his 16th season with the Gators. Longest tenured head coach in the Southeastern Conference, Billy Donovan. Oldest is a 17-year-old college freshman with a drive is Beal.
Boy, once again, just recognizing situations and taking advantage of it with no indecision whatsoever. Again, a freshman playing like a veteran.
17 points. Beal is 7 of 8.
There's the weak side help, though, for Marquette. Someone has to rotate over.
That's what Beal recognized.
Crowder 3 of 10. He's got 10. They're hanging around there. We just showed you moments ago that graphic about how they charge back from deficits often this past season.
Yeah, but they can't trade baskets. They need stops and to get out in transition. Timely 3 would be kind of nice right about now.
Beal to Murphy to Beal. Locked and loaded, missing the 3 and picked up by Vanderblue. 7 to play.
Gotta push up.
Crowder, big shot right here. A whistle and a Gator foul. Called Wilbekin, shoving his way to get free. Picks up his second foul for the Gators. 6:53 to play. You got it. Thank you very much, Greg. And of course, in St. Louis, beginning tomorrow night, North Carolina, Ohio. North Carolina State, Kansas, right here on TBS. Here we're under 7 to play. Crowder, a 3. Rebound by Beal. What is interesting about Florida is Boynton and Walker have gone scoreless in the second half so far for the Gators.
Yeah, they haven't been involved in the offense. They've been relying heavily on Bradley Beal, who has done nothing but deliver.
They were Crowder's last 2 shots. 3 have been in and out.
But that 0 for 6 right now on that score sheet doesn't tell you how close they are, right?
Here's Boynton off to Young. 5 on the shot clock with the turnover.
Talked about coming into the game that Crowder, on paper, was the best player on the floor, but really has struggled with some of the size and just really missing shots for the Golden Eagles.
Well, think about this. The last 10 games for Crowder, averaging 21 points, 11 rebounds, 7 double-doubles. Here is Johnson Odom.
They're trying to get it back all in one shot. The last 3 possessions, 2 threes by Crowder and 1 by Johnson Odom.
Yeah, and everybody knows there's no such thing as an 8-point shot.
Murphy. And Young is trying to climb the ladder and get that ball with a shove inside, and 5:48 to play here in the second half. The foul goes on Gardner for a second time. The winner here will take on the Louisville Cardinals. 4:30 Eastern is now the set time for Louisville against either Florida or Marquette. Saturday. Young puts it in. He's got 7. He averages 10 a game. Cadogan playing with 4 fouls. The whistle and a timeout for Marquette. Buzz Williams wants to continue to rally his team, but they trail again by 10. Well, the Sweet 16 continues tomorrow with doubleheaders on CBS and TBS. It all starts with the Infinity NCAA tip-off show at 6 o'clock on TBS. By the way, Shaka Smart will be in the Atlanta studio.
Talk about that Kentucky-Indiana game. I'm sure those Kentucky players are thinking about James Brown and the big payback.
One of the 2 losses Kentucky has had this season was in Bloomington early in the year. Shot clock at 16. Mayo for 3. Cadogan, Gardner, right on the doorstep. He couldn't get it to go. Crowder, look at the crowd inside. Murphy saved it, and here comes Young. Cadogan is on his tail.
And that sequence was a story of the game for Marquette. Oh, so close, with no cigars.
Cadogan shaking his head. What a frustrating night it's been for the current Big East Player of the Year. Beal is working on Mayo. Screen by Young. Opening the door. Beal to the rack.
Well, when it rains, it pours. Mama said there'd be days like this. And just the frustration by Marquette of Gardner and Crowder. Just can't get anything to go at the rim for Marquette.
Gardner picks up his 3rd personal foul.
But you mentioned before, Kevin, about Boynton and Walker not really scoring. Well, all they're saying is give it to the young fella.
Yeah, why
Let
not?
him handle it.
Here's Beal at the line. He's an interesting story as Gardner will trudge off, as will Young. Beal is the middle child of 5 boys. He has 2 older brothers who played Division I college football. One is a wide receiver in Northern Illinois, the other an offensive lineman in Alabama. And get this, he's got 2 younger brothers that both weigh over 400 pounds.
Twins.
300 pounds, excuse me. Twins over 300 pounds. And you know where their future is on the gridiron, probably. And then here's Beal, who's a tough kid, and they had some terrific pickup games. Marty, it's an interesting story, but a very athletic family he comes from.
I would say so, and some big boys in that family too, Kevin. But Bradley Beal has certainly been fantastic for Billy Donovan this year. And when he was looking for a leader earlier this year, he knew Irving Walker wasn't the vocal leader maybe that he needed. Kenny Boynton wasn't that guy, but Beal was that guy. Even as a freshman, he turned to him, handed him the key, said, listen, you be the vocal leader. But Bradley said when he came in, he didn't want to step on any toes. He was afraid to do that. Now he says he's comfortable being that vocal leader. And he told me yesterday, I've just been playing my ball game the last couple weeks. I would say his brand of ball game's pretty good, Kevin, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And because he's so physical, Lenny, it allows Donovan and Ford to keep 3 guards on the floor because he can rebound.
Oh, absolutely. He's been a terrific rebounder. Doesn't mind sticking his nose in there. But again, when you come from a family with such large people, and you're smack in the middle, you're happy to come to a place like this where you can voice your opinion.
Walker right in front. Finally gets one to drop. He's got 8 after missing his shots. And 6 in the first half.
You get tired of being a little brother.
Yeah. But a couple of younger Sibs were 300 apiece. That's pretty good. Prather was moving. Crowder was jumping at him. 4:15 to play here in the second half. Prather picks up his 3rd personal foul.
Prather just trying to get around the front of Crowder. Just a little bit late there. Good call there by the official.
You know, when you went down for the Gators, as you take a look at Jay Crowder, but when you went down, we touched on this back in the first half. I don't know if Ford really had a good compass on what kind of team they were going to be because he meant so much to the team defensively in particular.
Sure. I mean, he was the physical guy. He was kind of the enforcer on that team. He's got good size, good strength. He would have matched up nicely with a Jay Crowder. But Florida's made the adjustment. There's no question about it.
Jay Crowder.
You just can't turn the basketball over here if you're the Gators.
Oh, they had him in a grip and he got out of it. Outside, Boynton for 3.
And you don't need quick shots, though.
Mayo
as well.
From Crowder. Mayo is in for 2. He's on 8.
I'm with you, man. Why take that shot so quickly?
Earn some time off the clock. He had a double-digit lead here. Now it's down to 9.
Scramble in the game.
Now Billy Donovan gets him under control. Now they bring it out. Bradley Beal looking to shave some time off that clock. And the matchup with Wilson on Beal. Beal's going to handle that ball all day if he wanted to.
Mayo knocks it away.
Look at that hustle.
Call a timeout. That's what he got. Marquette got the timeout. They'll have possession, and they got timeout. That's their last one. Marquette coach, as you take a look at the game reset right there, Marquette coach Buzz Williams says, I always want to be the toughest team, maybe more so than anything else. I don't want to be too tactical or too technical. I just want to be the toughest. They showed some toughness on this play seconds ago.
Well, Todd Mayo, again, this is not the first time he's dove on the floor to gain possession and alertly calls timeout because the possession arrow was pointing to Florida. So in a tie-up situation, he would have lost possession. All too often, guys call timeout in that situation, not knowing which way the arrow is going. Usually they wind up losing the timeout. The arrow would have gone their way anyway.
And if you're Marquette, you're down 9. You've missed your last 8 3-pointers. So you figure if you can play inside out, Crowder, who's been struggling all evening, is due along with Darius Johnson-Odom. So if I'm Buzz Williams, I try to drop a play here to see if I can get a quick 3 here. Cut this down to 6 with 3:27 to play.
But it's got to be off penetration. You got to go to the basket hard. You get a quick 3 if it presents itself, or you get a 2, but you got to go to the basket. You can't settle for perimeter passing.
Basically a full shot clock with which to work. Crowder, Cadogan, long shot, Mayo, a big time 3, a 7-0 run by Marquette. It's the first Marquette 3-pointer in the last 21 minutes.
Foul by Wilson. You don't need a foul in this situation. And just a simple dribble handoff to Mayo for the 3.
Look at our game reset. Jamil Wilson picked up his second personal foul for Marquette. It was 58-45 Florida just 67 seconds ago.
Well, 2-possession ball game now. If I'm Marquette, there's nothing complex about it. You got to play defense. You got to scramble. You got to look for opportunities to double. Ball goes on the glass. You've got to go get it. And when you push it up the other way, you've got to hit the offensive glass. You got to pound it.
Yeah, remember Marquette is out of timeouts.
If you're Florida, too, take control of the basketball. If you're Walker and if you're Beal, you've got to have the ball in your hands to make plays.
Walker, that's a foul. And it's going to go on Darius Johnson-Odom. He picks up his second personal foul for the Golden Eagles.
Well, Ted Valentine said he got him across the head, and he did with that right hand.
Good call there by Ted Valentine. Getting the ball in is key.
Walker quickly pounced upon by Vanderblue.
Shave some time. The more time you can take off this clock, the more anxious Marquette becomes defensively.
Beal's got 19. Murphy's out there.
And you can lull him into a mistake.
Walker. Got by Blue, got by Wilson, pointing for 3. Rebound inside Young. It was indeed. Here comes Boynton. Murphy.
And you don't need a shot here. This is exactly what you're supposed to do if you're Billy Donovan and the Gators. One more time off the clock here. At least 20 seconds.
Marquette has got to relax, maintain their poise. It's a 2-possession ball game. There's still plenty of time.
Walker the triple. Good! Walker's got 11, his first basket of the second half.
And the thing that's going to hurt Marquette is they don't have any more timeouts. What a huge 3.
First 3 of the second half by Walker, and picked up by Walker again. And knocked away inside by Jamil Wilson.
Well, shot clock running down. Walker sees that opening right at that spot, point blank, with 13 seconds left on the shot clock. He just took advantage of the anxiety, as I said, that Marquette would demonstrate as the shot clock starts to go down, as the game clock starts to go down.
Mayo's on him. Little runner here by Walker. Rebound by Crowder. He's collected 6 rebounds for the Golden Eagles. Cadogan. Crowder, a 3. Jay Crowder.
Now you got to go for the steal, and if you don't get it, you got to play the foul game.
That's his first 3. Crowder's got 15. Here comes Boynton. And a foul going on the Golden Eagles, and the clock at 1:15. Foul on Johnson Odom with his 3rd.
Wilson get hit in the face here, going out of bounds by Boynton. Yeah, that right arm right to the nose of Wilson. It was almost like a follow through, and I think the officials are going to huddle up here and talk about it.
Could have been an elbow. Inadvertent, but it looked like it could have been an elbow to the head.
And this is within the window where
And
the
they're gonna review
officials
it.
can
There you
go
go.
and review it.
But that kind of back slap, backhand. Take a look now and see if it's an elbow, because an elbow to the head, that's got to be a flagrant 1.
Now, is it an elbow or is it a follow through? He tries to get by him, and that's an elbow.
Doesn't matter. It hit him with the elbow and hit him above the shoulder. The rule is very strict on that. Right there.
Yeah, that's an elbow to the face.
Whether it was advertent or inadvertent.
Which would be a flagrant 1.
Yeah, flagrant 1.
Which would be 2 free throws.
Personal foul.
2 free
Boynton.
throws in the ball.
Correct.
For Marquette.
Ted Valentine and Randall McCall, 2 of our 3 officials, are over there looking at it on a replay over at the official scores table.
And it doesn't look like it's anything malicious by Boynton, but you're right, Lynn. The letter of the law is anything that occurs above that shoulder area, the officials review it.
Now the question is whether it was
Flagrant
in their
1 or
mind
2.
an elbow
Right.
or a forearm. No, flagrant 2 wouldn't come into play here.
Flagrant 2 is automatic ejection. It's the same, the same thing applies, but in ejection.
That was wholly inadvertent. Contact above the shoulder of the elbow, not swung excessively. And the 2 is extremely excessive force. So 2 doesn't enter into it. But they didn't call it. I guess they say it's nothing.
Inadvertent.
I don't know about that, man.
That's what they're saying, apparently, that it was inadvertent.
Kenny Boynton is at the free throw line. He is a 75% free throw shooter. He is 2 of 2 from the line. The foul went on Johnson Odom, who picked up his 3rd for the Golden Eagles. The 3rd seed against the 7th seed Gators. The Cadugans were playing in foul trouble most of this second half, and most of this game, it seems like. Johnson Odom with a good finish.
And it's hurt the Marquette attack. And they're totally out of sync. As Darius Johnson Odom just point blank missed that layup.
Tie up. Florida's ball. Yep.
It's a good decision here. You get Patrick Young bringing another ball handler in Walker onto the floor. Now that was for Billy Donovan. That was defense to offense now.
Also, you bring in a good free throw shooter. Patrick Young about 59%. Knock these down and this game is over.
Johnson Odom will pick up the foul. He, by the way, and Crowder, the 2 top scorers for the Golden Eagles. Crowder and Johnson Odom a combined 9 of 28 shooting tonight.
Yeah, you credit Florida's defense to a certain extent because they were pretty sticky, but Marquette had enough open shots that they could have knocked down. They didn't get the shots in transition that they normally get because Florida did a good job of taking care of the ball.
Here is first-team All-SEC junior from Pompano Beach, Florida, Kenny Boynton Jr. And Florida from the free throw line tonight, 11 of 12.
Billy Donovan had a game plan, and they stuck to it. Very timely threes. We were very aggressive in that first half.
Johnson Odom takes it right to the rack and finds 2 with 13 points now.
Are you kidding me? Why would you get a 10-point lead? Why would you foul?
Well, I
Foul
don't think
goes
they
on
were
Young.
doing it on purpose, Lynn, but
I know, but take a look at this. Why would you even reach a foul?
tell you what, that's a nice,
Just let him
somewhat hip
score.
check there by Wilson to keep Patrick Young from coming over on that weak side help.
Young picks up his 4th personal. Marquette, as they have now for a while, out of timeouts. Wilbekin, Beal, Boynton, held by Crowder. Crowder picks up his 3rd. Darius Johnson-Odom is a senior. Jay Crowder is a senior. Walker will check out. Here comes Young with Beal, Wilbekin, Boynton at the line, and Murphy. That's the Gator 5 in the final 47.7.
Now you got to make and go to the free throw line and concentrate and make free throws. If you're Florida, this is a chance to move on to the Elite Eight and face the Cardinals of Louisville.
What a story, the teacher and the mentor against the pupil and the student athlete. Billy Donovan played for Rick Pitino at Providence, coached under him at Kentucky.
Beal with 21. That is a career high, short by a point. 22 is his career high, 21 tonight. Cadogan, long shot. Wilbekin is right there. It's going to be Florida and Louisville.
And Buzz Williams calling off the pressure, no foul.
It'll be Rick Pitino's Cardinals against Billy Donovan's Florida Gators. Final seconds. Florida has advanced to the Elite Eight. They win it by 10. They led by as many as 14. They controlled the second half. So Marquette, the 3rd seed, will fall. And Louisville and Florida have a date on CBS at 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern on Saturday afternoon here in Phoenix, Arizona. For Reggie Miller, Lenny Elmore, Marty Snyder from Phoenix, Arizona, the Florida Gators have advanced. Coming up on TBS, it's Inside March Madness presented by Buick. Beal puts in 21, Boynton puts in 11. The Gators are going to the Elite Eight.